Chapter 13, Eviction. It's not just you, Jude explained. Camo is knocking on everyone's door. We think they're trying to intimidate the SACs into giving up land, and we fear that is part of a bigger plan by the new American government to squeeze us out. Squeeze us out of the SACs? Jacob asked. Why? We're not a burden. That's why Adams recommended we be given legal status. It might be that Camo just wants more land, especially here between Cincinnati and Columbus. I also think it has to do with Adams realizing there are too many people who can't contribute to the economy. It could be they are trying to speed up the natural attrition of the population. SACs are harder to control, so if you can push them into the cities, then you have everyone in one place. People who are poor, crowded, and miserable and have easy access to birth control are less likely to have children. Dear God, Jacob sighed, reaching over and taking Marta's hand. Don't give up just yet, Jude encouraged him. Let's get some power flowing again and work every square meter of land so they don't have an excuse to try and take it over. Once the tractors have juice, I'd go ahead and turn over all the fields before winter, just so Camo drones can see you have no intention of letting them near your land. The next morning, Jude and Jacob were up early. Jude was getting ready to train a small army of homegrown technicians, and Jacob was assembling the volunteers. I can get every wind turbine and every solar panel up and the entire power grid humming like a kitten, Jude announced to the 20 young men and women who gathered on hay bales in the central barn. But I am not going to touch a thing. I am going to show you how easy it is, and you are all going to do it. Smiles and murmurs fluttered through the group. Jacob has a group heading out in front of us to clear the brush so we can get to the turbines and panels. While they are working, I'll show you how to clean terminals, splice wires of different gauges, and use a tester to see how much current is flowing. If you can do these three things well, you know about 80% of what it takes to keep the power flowing, Jude said as he gathered some wire, connectors, and tools on a rickety wooden table in front of him. The first thing we're going to do is strip wire. It's all downhill from there. Here are some insights. This scene takes place in the Chillicothe SAC. Chillicothe is how you pronounce it. If you read it and weren't quite sure, that is how you pronounce it. It may not be familiar to you if you are from outside of Ohio, but this SAC is good farmland. It's not that remote. It's between Cincinnati and Columbus, and it might be a good target for Camo. It's rich land. It's not far from the cities. It would be convenient for them to farm, but it is currently being farmed by a SAC that is made up of mostly either Mennonite or former Amish who do want to embrace, technology that will help them to be more productive, but they're actually having to kind of go back to Amish ways because their power has dwindled and finally cut off because their wind turbines have been maintained and their solar panels are not producing and they just need repair and maintenance. So what Jude does is smart. Instead of doing everything himself as one person, he gets a group of young people together, people who are ready and willing and anxious to learn, some kind of new skills. And he teaches them some really basic maintenance skills, wire splitting and oiling and maintaining and cleaning wind turbines and, and things like that, things that they can do not only to fix what's going on and get the power back up again much more quickly, but also they live there so they can maintain the power grid and keep things going. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. It has double impact. And this chapter really brings into light what happens when a SAC doesn't fail, but the government wants them to, and that sets up a conflict. Well, it's not just a philosophical conflict. In this chapter, this is the first time we're going to see the Sparrows actually come face to face with the new American government. They are actually going to face off with the new American Defense Forces. The new American Defense Forces come in an effort to confront the Chillicothe SAC and accuse them of breaking the law, being over capacity with too many members. And what they weren't counting on was that the Sparrows were there at the time. And so I don't want to spoil it. You should read it, but it is an awesome chapter, and it definitely will give the people hope. But it also will also set up another confrontation later that we will get to in chapter 14. So I will see you in chapter 14.